Before Red Bull was launched, its makers paid a research firm to test the idea on real consumers. The verdict that came back was brutal. People hated the taste. They hated the sticky medicinal flavor. They hated the name. They hated the slim little can. One report reportedly concluded that no other product had ever failed concept tests so completely. By every rule of business, this drink was dead on arrival. The man behind it launched it anyway. Today, that drink sells more than 12 billion cans a year in over 170 countries. It owns Formula One teams, football clubs, and a media empire. And it once sent a man to the edge of space to jump back down. The drink was not even his invention. He found it in a pharmacy in Thailand, being sold to tired truck drivers. This is the story of how an Austrian salesman took a failed taste test and a foreign tonic and turned them into one of the most valuable private companies on Earth.
Take a seat. This meeting has one item on the agenda. How a middle-aged salesman with no product, no factory, and a market study telling him to quit, built a global empire out of a drink that people said they could not stand. Most founders chase a product. This one chased a feeling. He had spent years selling toothpaste across the world, flying through time zones, exhausted. And somewhere in Asia, he found a cure for his exhaustion in a glass bottle. Everyone around him saw a strange foreign tonic. He saw a category that did not yet exist. The minutes run 9 minutes. Stay to the end, because the lesson here is the most expensive one in marketing. You do not sell the drink. You sell what the drink lets people believe about themselves.
His name was Dietrich Mateschitz. He was Austrian, in his late 30s, and for years he had worked as a marketing manager selling consumer products, including toothpaste, for a German company. The job sent him around the world, and the constant flying left him wrecked with jet lag. On a trip to Thailand in the early 1980s, someone gave him a local drink to fix it. It was called Krating Dang, which translates roughly to Red Bull or Red Gar, the gar being a large wild ox. It was a sweet, syrupy tonic, sold cheaply in pharmacies and to laborers, taxi drivers, and truckers who needed to stay awake through brutal shifts. Mateschitz drank it, and his jet lag lifted. And in that moment, he had the insight that would make him a billionaire. He noticed that across Asia, these tonic drinks were a huge and ordinary business. In the West, they did not exist at all. The man who made Krating Dang was a Thai entrepreneur named Chaleo Yoavidya, who had built a pharmaceuticals company. Mateschitz flew back to meet him, and instead of just licensing the drink, the two men became partners. In 1984, they founded a new company together, Red Bull. Each side put in around $500,000. Chaleo and Mateschitz each took 49%, with the final 2% going to Chaleo's son, and crucially, Mateschitz would run the whole operation. He took the Thai recipe and rebuilt it for Western tastes. He made it less sweet and added carbonation, the fizz, and he designed something the tonic had never had. A tall, slim silver and blue can with 2 charging bowls and a yellow sun that looked nothing like a soft drink and everything like a statement. Then came the hard part. It took Mateschitz 3 years just to get the product approved and ready in his home country of Austria, and when he finally commissioned proper market research to see if people wanted it, the results were a catastrophe. The testers did not just dislike Red Bull, they rejected almost everything about it. The taste scored terribly. The concept of an energy drink confused them. The premium price, far higher than a normal soda, struck them as absurd. The reaction was so bad that, by some accounts, no product the researchers had ever tested had bombed so completely. A rational businessman would have read that report and walked away. The smart money said this was a guaranteed failure. Mateschitz looked at the same data and reached the opposite conclusion. He decided that the research was wrong not because the numbers were fake, but because people cannot tell you they want a product that does not yet exist in their world. Nobody had asked for an energy drink because nobody knew an energy drink could be a thing. So in 1987, he launched Red Bull in Austria anyway, betting his entire investment against every expert who had told him no.
I want you to sit with what he actually did there, because it is far rarer than it sounds. A man pays good money for the truth. The data comes back screaming stop, and he chooses to override it. That is not stubbornness. Stubbornness ignores the facts. Mateschitz understood the facts perfectly. He simply understood something the survey could not measure. That taste was not the product. The product was energy, edge, and a feeling of being switched on. He was not selling a beverage that had to win a taste test against cola. He was selling a small can of confidence to people who needed to perform. And that is something you cannot put on a clipboard and ask a stranger to score. The lesson at this table is hard for most founders to swallow. Sometimes the market research is correct about the present and completely blind to the future. Knowing the difference is the entire game.
Believing in the drink was one thing, selling it was another, and here Mateschitz broke every rule in the book. He had a small budget and a product people had said they hated, so traditional advertising, blasting it on television next to Coca-Cola, was hopeless. Instead, he did the opposite of mass marketing. He kept the supply tight and the price high, making Red Bull feel exclusive and slightly rebellious. Rather than buy ads, he gave the product away to exactly the right people. His teams handed out free cans to university students cramming for exams, to clubbers and DJs who partied all night, and to athletes pushing their bodies to the limit. He sponsored extreme sports nobody else would touch, the cliff divers and the snowboarders and the air racers. He sent out small cars with giant Red Bull cans mounted on the back to hand out samples. The message was never really about the liquid. It was about the lifestyle. Stay up, push harder, fly higher. To tie it together, he used a simple, almost silly cartoon slogan that would become one of the most famous lines in advertising. Red Bull gives you wings. It worked. The drink crept out of Austria into Germany, then across Europe, and in 1997, it landed in the United States, the largest beverage market in the world. What happened next was not just success, it was domination. Red Bull did not merely sell a drink, it invented and then ruled an entire category. Energy drinks became a multi-billion-dollar global industry, and Red Bull sat at the top of it. The company poured its profits back into the one thing that built it: spectacle. It bought a struggling Formula One team and turned Red Bull Racing into a powerhouse that won world championships. It bought football clubs across continents. It built a media house that produced films and magazines. And in 2012, it staged the purest expression of its entire philosophy. It funded a man named Felix Baumgartner to ride a balloon to the edge of space, more than 24 miles up, and jump. He fell faster than the speed of sound and landed safely, watched live by millions with the Red Bull logo on his suit. A drink that gives you wings had just dropped a human being out of the sky. Today, Red Bull sells over 12 billion cans a year and remains privately held, never sold to the public. Dietrich Mateschitz, the exhausted salesman who found a cure for jet lag in a Thai pharmacy, died in 2022 as one of the richest people in the world, worth tens of billions of dollars. His Thai partner Chalo had become a billionaire too. They never built a better drink, they built a better belief, and sold it by the billion.
Minutes recorded. Before we adjourn, one question for the room, and do leave your answer in the comments. Dietrich Mateschitz did not invent his product. He did not have the best taste, the best price, or the approval of a single market expert. What he had was the conviction to trust his own read of human nature over a report that told him he was wrong. So tell me, if you had paid for the research and every number on the page said your idea would fail, would you have had the nerve to launch anyway? Or would you have listened to the experts and saved your money? There is no wrong answer, only an honest one. Next meeting, the company that invented the digital camera then hid it in a drawer because it was terrified of killing its own film business. and was buried alive by the very future it had built. Kodak. Subscribe. Attendance is taken. Minutes recorded. Meeting adjourned.